Hey people, I'm back again to talk to you a little bit about the Bloomington High School North Library. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to search for books or resources, mainly books. And I'm referring to the hard copy books that we have in the library, because even though you will not be able to browse until further notice, you will still have a chance to check out books. And so this is and receive books as long as you are in the building. So if you're in the building, I'll be able to pass this off, whatever you want during a passing period or before or after school, and I will relate that relay that information to your teachers in terms of specifics. But just doing a general search is a way to verify whether we have the book in our collection and to know whether or not it's available, as in, does somebody else have it checked out at the moment. So we're going to go ahead, I'll minimize myself, and we'll go ahead and look at the North web page because you all know how to get there. And we're just going to concentrate on the left-hand side. Now in the middle bottom, we have the same feature, but I'm going to stick with the top one simply because it allows me to use some filter features that really are applicable to any type of search, whether you are on the internet or you're looking for something on our site. Being able to filter is just a natural thing that we do in daily life with our interactions and what we do with people and when we think, but this is also applicable to research. So I'm going to start here on our home page and check out the left-hand side, and I'm just going to use a generic word like king. Now, anyone who knows me knows I also do like Stephen King and horror stories, but this has nothing to do with that outside of the fact that King is such a universal name. It can just be used just about everywhere. So you can just click King or type in King or any type of word and press go. That is a very simple way to attempt to get everything that we have in our collection. Once you do that, we will talk about other options, as in all, which is what you're in now, going by authors, titles, series titles, or subjects. But if you just want to see everything, and that is fine, just type in your word, look at go, and you'll see all the items that the computer believes will match your desires in the library. And so they're going to list everything, as I said, because they're a computer. And just for maybe filtering at this stage, something that you should think about are the features on the left-hand side. Because on the left-hand side, I mean, in the middle, actually, maybe I should start there, because in the middle, this is where you can see the cover, you can see the title, the author, you can see whether it's available on the right-hand side. And that is, I mean, that is very important. And that's what most people look at when they start their search. But if you want to filter it and you start to see some books that just don't appeal to you, or you're sort of surprised that it would even show up as an option, I would look on the left, because this is how you can narrow your results either by different genres or different areas in our library. If you prefer graphic novels, we can look at it in that fashion. If you want to see something local or something maybe even from more specific, like manga or oversized collection, this king is a type of word, as you'll find with certain words, that will just kind of have a lot of hits. But you can narrow down your search by clicking here. In the middle area of the left-hand side, we start talking about data that you might have been provided through standardized testing, or maybe your teachers share this with you. But if you want to look for books that are that based off of how well you read, this can be helpful. You can narrow it down in that manner, and you can also see some other codes that are applied that relate to reading and how and whether or not you struggle with it, and maybe perhaps even a grade that might be associated with the book. Some people might want to know when a book is published, like you might just want the most recently published books by that contain the word king, and some people really like series. So this is a way to also just get right into it and just say, no, I don't need anything else. I may not have filtered at the start, but I want to now. So I'll go ahead and show you what that would look like. So if we wanted to filter it and we wanted to say, okay, I only want King that is in the mystery category, then it's going to take that nearly 500 hits and take it to something that is more like 13 hits. And of course, it is a computer, remember? I mean, we have to give it as much information as we can so it can know what to do. But you won't see as many Stephen King books here because we have decided to focus on mystery. The next thing that we can do is we can look at the search engine by applying a few filters. And this time, when I type in King, I am going to, instead of saying all, I'm going to say authors. Now, this may seem pretty, as those who know Stephen King might say, well, all we're going to get is Stephen King. And it's true, we will get many, but not all Stephen King. There are other authors who have King in their name. And just moving down a little bit, you'll see that this American, I'll just show you kind of like how the computer thinks here. Like in this case, this graphic novel, American Vampire, we have Scott Snyder, who's listed as the author, yet we also see in the description that a portion of it is written by King. We see in the third hit that this is Jerry King, not Stephen King. And as we go down, the next hit is also not Stephen King. So just that's something to consider as you go through. This is also maybe a good time to apply another filter that might be useful. So sometimes when you do a search, it is helpful to say, okay, I want this, but I don't want this, similarly to what you do in real life. So we have it typed down. If we were looking for King and we were looking in the authors section, but we do not want Stephen King, we want maybe someone else with the last name of King, we'd have the option of saying and, or not. So if we say not, again, looking in author, because if we don't stay consistent, we'll confuse a computer, we can search this way. And when we apply the not Stephen, hopefully the computer will eliminate all the Stephen Kings. Now this may not be always right, but I'm just rolling through. It looks like we're pretty consistent here. So that is a way to maybe get out some of the fluff that doesn't apply to your search. Okay, going back to home, just doing a couple more just to show you how effective this searching method can be. We need to get out of Boolean search, go back to a basic search, which most of you will go for. But maybe not. Maybe you'll go with Boolean if you find that it helps you out. The next way we're going to look for King would be in the titles. Again, this should filter it to mainly only having the titles, but you see again we have the Stephen King. It's not in the title. The computer won't always be perfect, so if you want to apply that Boolean, you should here. But if you roll down, you're going to see most of these hits are going to be related. King will be in the title somewhere. Again, this goes all the way back to when these books are published, when they decide how things are going to look when they finally come to us. The last thing I'm going to talk about with our searches will be looking at same word, but then seeing this in terms of, or second to last, I'm sorry, but looking at this in terms of a series. Stephen King is the king, of series. He's written so many of them. But in here, we're not going to just get his series, but anyone that has it in the title. And then finally, we could do this if we looked at subjects. I would encourage people as they're looking for books, if you have some information, to definitely apply the filters as you go along. Again, it's one of the most natural things that people do in terms of wondering whether or not they want anything, not just academics, not just something at a library. Just remember, when you begin your search, you go down to Boolean in order to apply those and or nots, or once you begin your search, you also apply the filters that are available on the left-hand side. And as always, if you have any questions, come see me. You could always just send me an email and say, hey, I'm looking for this, but this gives you an opportunity to go ahead and just search yourself, because in a digital world, we're just a little more independent. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.